A lot of pentatonic playing moves step by step through the scale, and while that works, it can often sound quite predictable. One of the easiest ways to make your pentatonic playing sound more interesting is to introduce wider movement across the fretboard. Now, one of the best ways to do that is through string skipping. This is what creates a more interesting and expressive sound in this week's guitar lick. So for today's lesson, we're working out of position 1 of the A minor pentatonic, and say we're starting a solo that begins on the root note. This is fret 7 on the D string. Naturally, we would want to move to the next available string, which is the G string. But instead of doing that, I'm going to skip that string and jump over to the B string. This creates wider intervals, wider movement, and more expressive playing. This approach in general will help your playing sound less like scales and more like musical phrases. So for today's lick, we're working out of position 1 of the A minor pentatonic, and we begin on the D string, hammering from frets 5 to 7. I'm then going to skip over to the B string and hammer from frets 5 to 8. We then repeat this process, but this time starting on that G string. So hammering from frets 5 to 7, and now skipping over to the high E string where I hammer from frets 5 to 8. So altogether we have okay, and now the next part of the lick, which is probably the hardest bit, I slide from the little finger up to fret 10, which takes us temporarily into that next position. But what I'm going to do here is pull off to fret 5. It's quite a stretch. And if you can't manage that pull off, just pick those notes individually. Now from here, I'm going to skip over to the G string and play frets 7 to 5. Now, when I was working out what I was doing here, I don't actually pull off these two notes, I pluck them individually, but if you prefer to pull them off, that's absolutely fine. And from here, I pull off from frets 8 to 5 on the B string, and then jump over to the D string, where I find my root at fret 7. And I just finished this whole lick off with a cliche blues ending. And all I'm doing here is playing frets 5 on both the G and B string as like a double stop idea, and I'm just going to pull down on that G string with my first finger ever so slightly, and then resolve on that root just there. So let's just try that second half one more time. Okay, so let's just have one more quick run through of the entire lick. I'll do this nice and slow. Just jumping in here quickly. Now you may not need this, but if you're after a bit more support from these videos, I've got tabs and backing tracks on my Patreon page. It's £3 a month, totally optional, but either way, thank you so much for being here. The link's in the description if you want it. String skipping naturally creates space, movement and expression, and that's why it's such a powerful tool when using the pentatonics. And this idea is really what's helping create more expression in this week's guitar lick. It doesn't sound predictable, it doesn't sound like I'm drilling a scale, it sounds like I'm playing a musical phrase that's incredibly interesting, all while being contained within that 5-note pentatonic scale. Sounds really cool. So let's hear that lick in context over a backing track. This one's in A minor at 60 beats per minute. So my goal tempo for this lick is 120 beats per minute, so let's try that over a different track. Here we go. there we go, that's this week's guitar lick. Remember, the lick is just the example, the concept behind it is the real lesson. Now, if you want to dive just a little bit deeper into this, I've got full tabs and backing tracks over on my Patreon page. That's linked in the description. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe, maybe leave me a comment. I'd love to know how you got on. But until next time, have a lot of fun practicing this, and I'll see you very soon.